Get the hell off my property. Now, if you ever come back here, I'm going to kill you!
Hey, Tyler? I've been looking all over the place for you. You alright?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Whoa!
Wow, he was really affected by that.
Hey, let's get you off your feet, okay? Come on.
So do these memories have like this power of some kind of physical impact? Or is it just that he's struggling with the emotional side?
Listen, if you want to be alone, I'll go. But if there's anything you need to get off your chest, I won't snitch.
You saw Alyson? How is she?
Yeah. I went back to check on her this morning. She was in a pretty bad way. Whatever went on between you two, it wrecked her.
Look, I don't want to drag you into this.
Well, I'm already in it, and you look like hell, so...
I just got a lot on my mind.
Well, I know one thing that's good for that. As a wise man once said, fishing is the cure to the wounds of the heart.
Okay. I don't know if he's in the mood. Was that you?
Was that wise man you?
Hey, like I said, I gotta write my own legacy. So, you in?
I don't know.
Come on, we're burning daylight. Let's go.
I really like the
Where are we
lighting.
gonna go?
Why go anywhere when we have a perfectly frozen lake right here?
Ice fishing in November?
Yeah, it got cold way fast this year. Climate change. That shit's gonna kill us. But hey, fish first. You can walk behind me if you're afraid, though.
You're actually serious?
I am a very serious man, Tyler. Let's go. We still have to get everything out of the car.
He does seem very serious. Yeah, I'm really digging the lighting in this game. They did a good job with the lighting.
Stage is set. It's showtime. Whenever you're ready.
You sure you don't want to go?
Nah. Look, no way I'm gonna rob you of your first catch in your own backyard.
All right.
Now we wait. Oh, nice. We can look around. You know what I want to do? I
Is that
would.
everything you need, by the way?
Yeah, I'm good.
Man,
Wait, can I read? I can't read the stories here, I guess.
I'm so gonna miss this.
Miss what?
Just hanging out and fishing and... You know, I'm not gonna have a lot of time after you move to Juneau with school and the JC and everything.
Right.
He's so distracted.
So did any of the people you came up with at Fireweed land in Juneau?
Oh, I'm not sure. Once they left, I never really kept in touch.
Really?
Huh. Weren't that... he did seem close to some of them, though, right?
People came and went a lot. And besides, everyone moves on eventually, right?
Not everyone. Not people who get so close they're like family.
I already have a family.
Well, there's a reason we think of families as trees. They keep on sprouting new branches and...
Oh, hey, I think I've got a bite.
You got this. Reel them in.
Well, okay. Let's do it. What do I do?
Come on, pull up on the rod.
Keep the marker in the sweet spot. Complete the circle to catch the fish.
No, give it a nice pull.
Oh, I see. Okay. Kind of get it. I thought we had to hold it down, but it looks like I had to, like, click it or something.
Slippery little. Got it.
Bravo.
First of many.
Pace yourself. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Thanks, Sensei.
Oh, hey, did you want to make solid plans to hit the buzzard hole? The river might ice over soon, so we shouldn't wait too long.
Buzzard hole. Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Sweet. I was planning to go Saturday. I'll pick you up on the way out.
Cool. I'll set my alarm to ass crack of dawn.
So what can we do?
I should have said this earlier, but thanks for doing all this.
You're making it sound like it's a big deal again. This is what friends do. Besides, I wanted to see if all this talk of yours was just that.
Your verdict?
You're doing pretty well, but don't let it go to your head. Still plenty of time for ego to get the best of you.
Yes, sir.
I feel like he's doing a really good job of distracting us.
I should have said this earlier.
That's just the same
but
thing.
Thanks for doing all this.
You're making it sound like it's a big deal again.
That was
This is
weird
what
that
friends
looking
do.
at that triggers
Besides,
this
I wanted
dialogue.
to see if all this talk of yours was just that.
Your verdict?
You're doing pretty well, but don't let it go to your head. Still plenty of time for ego to get the best of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what else do we have to look at here?
All right, here we go.
Oh, fish. So yeah, it's like, it seems to change every time I hit the button. Like it'll go right when I hit the button, and then it will go switch to left the next time I hit it.
Okay. Okay. How about them apples?
Oh, nice job.
Sweet.
Oh, you weren't all talk.
Impressed?
I only see 2 fish in my cooler.
For now.
What?
So you gonna tell me what's in the cooler, or what?
I could tell you. Or I could watch you squirm a bit longer.
Ugh. You're a terrible person. You know that?
You betcha.
You have this whole fancy bag just for ice fishing?
You don't mix and match. Ever.
Jeez.
It's a pretty
you
nice
don't mess
bag.
around, do you?
Told you earlier. I'm a very serious man.
When it comes to fishing, I guess.
So do you always drive around with an auger in your car?
It's not how it looks. Okay, I swear.
I like
was already
Michael.
planning on going ice fishing with the family this weekend. I made a mistake of forgetting the auger one, so we had nothing on hand but an ice chisel.
Yikes.
That'll scar a man for life.
Fair enough.
Okay, we already looked at that like 7 times. Let's talk.
So, about last night. I don't know what Alyson said, but from my side, well, I thought we were on the same page. But it turns out we weren't.
Hey, so don't tell her I told you, but last week your sister was almost unbearable. She was jumping up and down with excitement at you coming back.
Really?
You better believe it. Look, the last time you saw each other, you were kids. Just because things have changed doesn't mean you can't work it out.
I would say we pushed her too hard.
I know. It's probably my fault. I really pushed her last night. I just don't get why she always has to run away from everything.
You blame her?
Avoiding the problem doesn't make it go away. She's so fixated on selling the house. It's like she's trying to bury the past. All of it. Even the good parts.
Look, I'm not picking sides here. Okay, but she's been murder house girl ever since it happened. Now she's got a chance to put it behind her
I'm nodding.
and start fresh. Shit, I'd be pretty eager too.
Didn't really think about that. Yeah, me too. I was the kid who killed his mom. These two are kind of like looking intently into each other's eyes. The sexual tension.
I guess I didn't really think about that. I've been so focused on my own shit. It's been hard, you know? Figuring out how to live out here.
You mean outside of fireweed?
Yeah. When I first got there, all I could think about was getting out. It felt like a cage. But after a while, it started to feel more like a shell. I figured out who I was in there. But now I've got to work out how to be that person out here.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, none of us really know what we're doing. Like, shit may look bleak now, but your sister's never gonna give up on you. And you can lean on me too if you want. Just be careful, okay? Got a bad left shoulder.
I'll keep it in mind. Thanks for listening.
Don't mention it.
Sounded like something was running to the
Don't you
left.
say anything. I got this.
That's why I looked over. Did you guys hear that? It's gonna be tight this time, right? Oh, okay. I was holding it too soon. What? Oh. Okay, okay. Oh, it's way harder now. What am I doing wrong? Do I have to... What the hell? Why is this taking forever? What am I doing wrong? Oh, I just have to get it into the spot. Okay, okay, I see. I thought it was I had to keep it in there. I actually had to get it onto a specific spot. That was strange.
I got nothing. That was clean.
I'm a little disappointed.
I thought it would be better if I had to like squeeze the trigger down.
Hey, can I ask you something that's pretty personal?
Sure. Take off the gloves.
You've been with people, right? Romantically?
Yeah. A few. Have you?
No, not really.
That's kind of surprising.
Good on my own. I never really thought about it. Never met the right person.
I guess the right person just never came along?
But you're open to the idea?
Yeah, I could be. Let's say I'm reevaluating.
You want my take on it?
Sure.
Heartbreak sucks. Look, I stopped listening to the entire indie folk genre just because I was dumped at a show once. But I put myself back out there just like everyone who's ever gotten their heart stomped on. Because when you meet someone who really sees you, you don't have to pretend anymore.
Are we gonna do it?
And you're still interested in being that someone? Even after all the shit that's happened?
Hey, I've got baggage too. I think it's worth a chance. Don't you?
Yes. We're in total agreement.
I think we're in total agreement here.
Yeah?
Yeah. I get this feeling like I could say or do anything with you and it'd be cool. I feel safe.
You are.
We got that zoom in.
Because your sister would kill me if I did you dirty.
Yeah, she would.
So, doesn't look like you're catching anything with that. You want me to show you how it's done?
Go for it.
Oh, this is great. I have a big smile on my face. Hopefully they don't fall into the ice. That would be terrible.
Hey, you're missing the show. You okay?
Tyler getting it done. Nice. I wonder how this is going to impact his relationship with Alyson, though. Is it gonna... That's major. Man, she's been through a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, one way to put it. Hey, Allie. I think I'll just show myself out.
Okay. Call me later?
You know I will.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, it's totally fine. We were done anyway.
Catch anything?
Mostly ice, but yeah.
Tyler, I'm sorry for freaking out yesterday. All of this, it's just been really hard on me.
Don't apologize. I was being an asshole. We should have never pushed you that hard.
Come here.
Okay, good. Whew.
God, why did I miss you so much? It's only been a day.
I've been told I have that effect on people.
You dum-dum. Okay, so I need to show you something.
What? You're kind of weirding me out.
Can we sit down for a sec?
This is going to be very interesting, too. What are we going to find in the attic?
So, what is it?
I was just at Sam's. He's not our father.
How do you know?
I asked him, point blank.
Huh. I mean, yeah, arson doesn't appear to be his style.
I'm not surprised. Burning down the barn didn't really seem like a Sam move.
Especially since he
Yeah, I guess it was silly to suspect him in the
built it,
first place.
too, right?
He'd never hurt Mary Ann's kids. There's something else. Look at this. This was taken in 1992 when Mary Ann first moved to Delos Crossing. See that ladder? Sam told me the barn has a loft. He helped her build it. Apparently she never told anyone about it.
And it's still there?
As far as he knows, yeah. What do you think? Should we give it a shot?
We've come this far. And a hidden loft? That's got secret shit written all over it.
I kind of like
Let's
these.
go.
They're kind of like interactive cutscenes almost, where you can look at stuff. Okay, before we get in there, what I wanted to do before was read a story. Did the old beaver, right? The goblins irritate the Ice King. Right? Isn't that what we're going to read? I've got so many stories to read. Once upon a time, in a deep and ancient wood, the crafty goblins were getting into all kinds of trouble. They had woken up in a particularly mischievous mood that day, and there was not a single denizen of the ancient forest who they did not manage to pull a prank on. They left a mud pie in the princess's kitchen, so that when she dug in, she got a big mouthful of dirt. They used paint to draw silly pictures all over Moose's antlers while he slept. They told the mangy muskrat that his coat had been returned to its former glory, which made him very sad when he rushed to the water's edge and found he was, in fact, still mangy. They stole branches from the very old beaver's dam in order to have a sword fight, and they filled the old bear's den with burrs. Every time they ran away in a fit of giggles, never stopping to consider whether their jokes had done any harm. They were on their way to fill the pious pelican's beak full of bubbles when they were hoisted into the air by their legs. Though they thrashed and shouted, they found themselves staring into the face of the Ice King. "All morning," he said, "I have been hearing complaints about you two." "They're just pranks," said the goblins. "No one has been really hurt?" "Oh, no one has really been hurt? Oh no?" asked the Ice King. He forced them to see how each of the victims of their pranks was doing. The princess had a stomachache from swallowing the mud. The moose's antlers itched terribly where the paint had touched them. The muskrat was crying, sad at being reminded what his vanity had cost him. The very old beaver's den was flooded, and the old bear was trying to get the burrs out of his fur, but finding most of them hopelessly tangled. For your punishment, said the Ice King, you must help each of them undo the harm you caused. If you do a good enough job of this, there will be no further punishment. If you do not, you will have to give me your noses, so that you can no longer stick them into other people's business. Now the goblins liked their noses right where they were, in the middle of their faces, so they set about making things right. They baked a real pie for the princess and brewed her a tea that would settle her stomach. They scrubbed the moose's antlers clean and then covered them in soothing mud. Probably the mud that they used for the pie. They sat by the river with the muskrat, listening as he talked in great detail about his old coat. And then they did their best to point out all the things that were still handsome about him, like his proud whiskers and sparkling eyes. They let the very old beaver rest while they repaired all the damage done to her den. And then finally, they removed every burr from old bear's fur, even the ones that were hopelessly tangled. In the end, they came before the Ice King to see if they had done enough. The Ice King surveyed the forest and found that everyone seemed to be back to normal. What did you learn? Asked the Ice King. That our pranks can make people feel bad, said the goblins. The Ice King smiled and nodded. Yes, actions have consequences. In case you forget, I am going to leave you with a reminder. Whenever one of your pranks is going to hurt someone, you are going to feel a little pit in your stomach. That will be your punishment and your warning. So every time after that, the goblins set out to do a prank that went a little too far. They felt a little pit in their stomachs, and they were forced to consider whether it was the right thing to do. And that is how the goblins irritated the Ice King and how they were punished. No, we haven't read that one, right? The Ice Troll, no. No. Ah, there's so many more. We did read that one. We haven't read that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4 stories left. I don't know if I'll get a chance to read them all before we're done. I feel like we're getting close to the end.
Ugh, what a mess. That's not gonna help us get this house sold.
Yeah, we got our deadbeat dad to thank for that.
So obviously the ladder's gone, but what about that handle? Is it still here somewhere?
Oh. Could we kind of just...
You want to take another look at the pic?
What do you think is up there?
I don't know. I'm trying not to speculate. My brain was going to some real dark places.
Gonna say maybe we could climb up that?
Don't worry. Whatever's up there, I'll protect you.
We'll see how chivalrous you feel when you've got bats in that perfectly coiffed hair.
So we're looking for something to pull that down with, I guess. She mentioned something about looking at the picture again? Oh, that red thing next to the door? It's missing, it looks like.
The handle should be behind this.
Oh, cool.
There it is.
It's opening up.
The secret keeper always did store all the best secrets in the clouds.
Yep. Come on.
Interesting.
Let's find a way to climb up there.
Oh. Right over here. No? Guess we have to look.
Well, that's way too high to jump. You want to give me a leg up?
I'm so not touching your nasty shoes. We'll find a ladder.
A ladder. Ladder. Oh, it's right here. Wow, that was hard to find. another puzzle to solve.
Can you see anything?
Nope. Nada.
Yep, nothing up there. Are you kidding me? It's like a freaking shrine.
Here, found a switch.
Whoa.
Holy shit. Well, that shaved a few years off my life.
That music.
Whoa.
It's
Her story.
Look, she left us something.
It's got a combination lock with letters.
Do you think she hid the code somewhere in all this?
Knowing Mary Ann, probably.
Well, you want to do this?
Yeah. Let's start here.
Okay. Oh, wow. The old bear's gifts for the princess.
Why are these pictures from the Book of Goblins here?
I don't know.
Oh, neat. Set down.
That's the Pious Pelican spot.
Oh, all the ones that we found.
Crafty goblins go here.
Cool. I missed some, though.
Moonhag's gotta be imprisoned in her lake. The Mad Hunter, always on the princess's trail.
Oh, and as we put them down, it plays different piano. I guess it probably unlocks something else, right? That sucks that I missed some. I did have more, but I guess some of them... Or is there another... Oh, there's another set over here. Okay. I was going to say maybe some of them don't matter.
Back in your pond, Big Frog. There you go, Stalwart Moose.
Oh, which one's your favorite?
The Ice King goes in the forest, obviously.
Ice King.
We'll let the mangy muskrat have his rock back.
The mangy muskrat might be my
The old
favorite.
bear's gotta be in his ice cave. Here, the Secret Keeper, hiding secrets in the clouds.
Almost got them all.
Tyler, we're not done with this one.
Oh, we're just gonna start here. Okay, I see.
Recognize this?
Yeah, it's from the story where the goblins tricked the Mad Hunter.
It looks like it, but it's different, right? Can you check the book?
Oh wow, there's a lot here.
It moves. Oh, some of these parts are buttons.
Oh, so do we have to find how this is different from the story? Huh. Okay, so that was
Well, here it is.
this one.
Why do you think she changed the picture?
I don't know. Maybe it's a message. Like, the differences between the two mean something.
Something about Mary Ann, right? Since she's the princess?
Yeah. Why don't we try to find them all and then see if it makes any sense?
Okay, so it says the goblins trick the Mad Hunter.
Okay, spot the differences.
So once upon a time, there was a young princess who felt hopeless. So that's different. So that works. Okay. What's this? That looks the same, right? Those... The snowflakes on the left, there's 2 of them. Okay. Smile looks the same. The castle? Ah, there's no castle.
Why do you think she added that castle in the background?
See the color of the flag? It could be the Gold Lady's castle. And it looks like the princess is running away from it.
So Marianne ran away from home, and she grew up kind of rich?
Here we go. Okay. And then she's not in the water.
The princess is running away from the Mad Hunter.
Who was sent by the Gold Lady, according to the story.
Do you think the Gold Lady could have been Marianne's mom? I mean, she always used to say she moved to the end of the world to get away from her family.
Huh. Yeah, you're right. She ran away. Just like the princess is here.
Huh. Looks like the hands are different too, right?
The Mad Hunter still has 2 hands here.
So this was either before the Gold Lady cut off his other one, or after he earned it back?
Which either makes it before most of the stories, or after.
Yeah, at some point when she was running away from whatever the hell the Mad Hunter meant to Marianne.
Okay, I want to read that story now, since we're talking about it. This is a good time. The Mad Hunter gets his hand back. Once upon a time, in a deep and cold lake near the ancient forest, there lived an old seal who was a powerful witch. After angering the Ice King, she had been bound to the lake, allowed only to venture out when the moon was full, and only looking like the hag she truly was. For years, she dreamed of vengeance, all alone within the deep lake, among the corpses of her many previous victims. One night, she awoke to see a black and hooded silhouette clawing to reach a beautiful gown full of stone. Okay. The human had delved far deeper into the lake than any land dweller should have been able to go. His tenacity and ferociousness impressed the moon hag, and she decided he would be wasted in her statuary of corpses. She used her magic to enspell him, allowing him to breathe underwater, but also binding him to her service. You, she cried. Okay, I'm just thinking about this. Will be the instrument of my release and my revenge, for you and I together will kill the Ice King. The moon hag had never heard of the Mad Hunter, and she did not know the power he wielded. So the Mad Hunter could be someone that her mother sent to find Marianne. So maybe the moon hag could be her mother. Maybe the Ice King is her father. Maybe her father tried to defend her choices or whatever, caused her to run away. Okay. The moon hag had never heard of the Mad Hunter. She could only tell he was a hunter, and her lust for revenge blinded her to the threat he posed. She gifted him a hand of ice, which was not as nimble as a hand of flesh, but allowed him to serve her better than no hand at all. There's also, oh yeah, OA. Okay, I was going to say the inscription. The moon hag spent years devising the perfect plan to kill the Ice King, and years more moving all the pieces into place to execute it. In the meantime, the Mad Hunter served her, guarding her chest of treasure and plotting his own plots. The rich family. Finally, everything was prepared. The full moon rose and the moon hag stepped on land. Maybe she had to leave because of the twins. She had a child with someone that her parents didn't approve of or something. Giddy at the thought the full moon rose and the moon hag stepped on land. Giddy at the thought she would never have to leave again if it did not please her. She brought the Mad Hunter to his post, a jagged peak of ice and stone, from which he would loose the arrow that would slay the Ice King. Before she could go, he put forward a proposal. Moon hag, said the Mad Hunter, if you grow back my missing hand, I would be certain to hit the Ice King with my arrow. We will have only one shot, and I would hate to miss. You're a powerful witch, so you'll be able to craft ties to bind me to this place that I cannot break. The moon hag considered it. All right, I will grow back your hand and then bind you here with ties that will not break. She cast a spell, and the Mad Hunter's hand of ice was replaced with a hand of flesh. As the witch left to complete the next part of her plan, the Mad Hunter grinned wickedly in the moonlight. After a short time, the Moon Hag returned, luring the Ice King into the Mad Hunter's line of sight. What is this about, Moon Hag? Asked the Ice King. Many a long year have you bound me to the lake, said the... Oh, sorry. Many a long year have you bound me to the lake, said the Moon Hag. Many a long year have I been alone in the dark. That ends tonight. She cast a powerful spell that made the Ice King slow to react, and then gave the signal. Mad Hunter, she cried. Let your arrow fly. Nothing happened. She twitched nervously. Mad Hunter? She growled. Let your arrow fly. Still nothing happened. The Ice King, meanwhile, was striding toward her, slow but furious. The Moon Hag fled, running first to the jagged peak of ice and stone, where her servant should have waited. But the peak was empty. The ties had been broken, and the Mad Hunter was gone. For in the end, he was the more powerful of the two, especially once he had two hands. When the Ice King finally caught the hag, his furious voice could be heard throughout the forest. For your wickedness, you will be eternally bound to the lake. You will no longer be allowed to leave, not even under a full moon. The Moon Hag was imprisoned in the lake, and she never again tried to escape. This is how the Mad Hunter escaped the Moon Hag, and how he got his left hand back. Very cool story. So 1, 2, 3 stories left. And we need to go back to this, that drawing. What's the final difference? It's this.
Did she add that flower? Is that like an innocence lost kind of thing?
Wait, no.
I'm really grasping at straws here.
That was the same. I thought there was a flower missing. That's the same. Ah, this is different. There's no goblins.
Huh. No goblins.
Yeah. In the original.
That's it. Whoa.
What's in there?
Oh, we didn't get to hear that.
Pictures, letters. Have you ever seen any of these?
All the pictures of Marianne I've ever seen were the ones hanging on the walls.
Ooh. My eye is drawn to this first. Environment over economy.
An artsy environmentalist. Yep, that sounds like Marianne's exact kind of catnip.
Okay.
Did you know she studied engineering?
No. It looks like she changed her major to visual arts.
I don't think she actually got it changed. The paper's not signed and it's all wrinkled. Like someone tried to throw it away.
So she didn't want to be an engineer. California, Berkeley. 1984. Lucky Lane? Kensington? Okay. I'm going to read that letter last because...
I can't believe she was a ballet dancer. Marianne.
And a good one, too.
God, that's so not her.
That's going to be the most important thing, right?
Oh, poor thing.
Why would she keep an old drawing of a pet in here?
My birdie Polly, I'll miss you forever. Wait, is that the princess?
The gold lady.
No, the gold lady.
That was definitely her mom.
So, did Marianne grow up kinda rich?
Maybe. Would have been nice to have some of that.
Huh. So 2.
The Gold Lady is the wise princess's cruel mother, who sent the Mad Hunter to drive the girl back to the palace.
Oh, okay. So hold on, who's the...
The Moon Hag is an old and powerful witch. She lures her innocent victims deep beneath the ice and traps them there forever.
Okay, so I thought maybe there's a connection between the gold lady and the moon hag?
The Gold Lady is the wise princess's cruel mother, who sent the Mad Hunter to drive the girl back to the palace.
No, I guess we don't know who the moon hag is. If they are someone.
Wow, I don't think I've ever seen a picture of her that young.
I think that's her mom in the background.
Okay, here we go. Mary Ann, I can't do this anymore. You deserve better than cliche bullshit. Like, it's not you, it's me. But the truth is, it's all just been too much to deal with, and I've realized I'm just not ready. Maybe if we could have dealt with all of this on our own without your mom constantly putting pressure on us, things could have been different. But the damage is done, and it's probably too late for that now. I'm so sorry. You're an amazing person, and you made me a better man. I hate myself for doing this, but I feel like we'll both be better off apart. There I go with the cliches again. Please don't ever stop being who you are. Here, but I'm gone, Brent. Couldn't handle it. And his mother was pressuring them. So maybe he impregnated her and his mom was pressuring them to get married. He wasn't ready.
Could this guy have been any more cryptic?
Tyler, see that little light? I think we need to solve this one next.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Is there... Yeah, there we go.
Gold Lady stays locked up in her castle.
I wonder if I can get the ones that I missed. It's this one, right?
There's the Gold Lady again. She's all over the board. There was a figure of her in that stash by the Mad Hunter painting, right?
Oh, yeah.
So maybe all of this is related to what we found in there.
Okay. Her cruel parents kept her locked away in their musty palace. So the bird, maybe?
Hey, I can move the piece next to the Gold Lady.
All these pictures. They look like images from Marianne's life before Delos, don't they?
Well, some of them do anyway.
Maybe that's it then. We need to figure out which ones are real?
So we got the bird for Polly. Ballet.
The princess dancing, playing violin, spinning wool. I guess this is stuff she did for fun?
Notice how unhappy she looks in all these pictures? I don't think she was having any fun.
Okay. And then we've got what she studied, I guess? It must be this, visual arts, what she wanted to study. Or is that no, that's engineering. My bad. That would makes more sense. It's cogs and light bulbs. I was thinking it was like a picture of those things, but...
The wise princess looks like she's trying to run away.
And she's being watched by the Gold Lady.
And then... He was an artist, right?
What's the Gold Lady do? Is that it?
It's opening.
Kind of sucks that we can't hear the end bit. OL.
What's in there this time?
That's the place. Wait. That's a different place, right? So it's spelling Ollie, I guess? The letters on the inside of the door.
Is that Carol?
Yeah, and Sam. Look at him. He's so young and happy.
That looks different from the house, though. Doesn't it? I guess maybe it was built up afterward. Stuff was added, like the house by the dock, and then the maybe the dock itself, and also the shed.
Wow. She worked for a watchmaker in Juneau before she moved to Delos. No wonder she was so handy.
Oh, or maybe that was her place in Juneau? Here is my Delos Crossing pal's number. I let him know you're interested in the house he's selling, Tammy.
Oh, so that's how she found the house.
Okay. Salmonberry? Oh, salmon. I was like, Salmon? Salmonberry Park, Kodiak Island. Eco Village Arts Workshops. Oh.
Salmonberry Park. Huh. Is that some kind of commune?
Looks like it. So weird to imagine her living in a community like that. With, other people.
The weirdest part is how they all seem to love her. Where was prom queen Mary Ann when the whole town was turning on us?
From the good people of Salmonberry Park, Kodiak Island, June 1992. Don't be a stranger. Keep on looking for those answers to the questions in your head to which you're blind. Shelley, we miss you already. We miss you already. Saul and Bronwyn. Sorry we're losing you to modern civilization. We'll miss your positive attitude and your adventurous spirit. Also, your wild edibles picking skills. Your wild edibles picking skills. Pretty Marcus. Bon voyage, Marianne. Kind of reminds me of Life is Strange 2, the commune that we ended up in with our mother. Bon voyage, Marianne. Rick. Marianne, you had the warmest, most beautiful aura, and I know you'll keep on shining wherever you land. Peace and blessings, Yarita? Thanks for being our little ray of sunshine. Godspeed, Cabot and Wati. I like your pictures. Love, Kamala. Kamala? Okay, I can never remember how to pronounce that. Kamala or Kamala? Probably depends. Different people probably pronounce it different ways. I believe the vice presidential candidate for the Democratic Party pronounces it Kamala.
Her father.
Okay. 05/17/1996. Mary Ann, I hope this letter finds you. But since you didn't leave any contact information, I'll have to send it to your aunt and hope for the best. I'm writing to inform you that your mother passed away last week. We just had her funeral reception. The house has been filled with people all day. Friends, family, colleagues, and church members. So they were part of a church. She didn't seem particularly religious. It's now 11 p.m. and I'm sitting alone at the kitchen table surrounded by dozens of trays of food, flowers, and sympathy cards. Your cousin Aidy, brought in a beautiful photo album full of our holiday pictures in La Connor. You're there in all of them, but you weren't here today. We haven't heard from you in 4 years and can only hope you made it to Alaska. Wherever you are, it's kind of funny, like Alaska is like the opposite of California. Wherever you are, and that you and your child are both safe. Your mother had been sick and depressed for years, and you can imagine why. The pain of being shunned by her own daughter. Knowing she would never get to see her grandchild grow up. It spread through her body like cancer and consumed her completely. All this suffering simply because you ran away like a temperamental little girl, instead of accepting her help when you got pregnant out of wedlock. Yeah, okay. After dropping out of college and without a penny to your name. Wow, that's just a dump of information there. She only stepped up to help because she knew you weren't ready to raise a child properly, Marianne. Mother's duty doesn't end when her children leave home. Now that you're a mother yourself, I hope you will begin to understand that good parenting isn't about coddling children. It's about providing for them and shaping them into the people they're supposed to become, whether they like it or not. Okay. I won't trouble you again. You've made your intentions clear. I just thought you should know. It's becoming clear to me why she might want to leave. It's like, it's not about coddling them. It's about making them into the people that the parents want them to become. Dad. Nice. Nice, Dad.
Hell? Mary Ann was pregnant in 1992, before she even got here.
Before us. Do we have a long-lost sibling out there somewhere?
It's possible, but she could have given it up or miscarried. Who knows?
Yeah, you're right.
We kind of got the impression that maybe...
Do you think we could track down her father?
You mean the grandfather she never told us about? I don't think I want to.
You're not at all excited about having more family.
You saw the letter. I don't think we want any part of that.
Fine. Let's keep digging.
It's possible I kind of got the sense that they might be adopted, right? Or maybe that like whole thing about her finding the goblins was like
This just lit up, so I think we're supposed to try this one next.
she got pregnant when she got here. Maybe after losing a child, or I don't know. I guess we'll find out. One day she took her tiara and ran away to the forest.
What's this?
Some sort of map?
Which story is that? Two thieves. Party. I don't think it's... Maybe it doesn't pertain to one particular... Okay. Hold on. Maybe it's a story. Ran away to the forest. Okay, now hold on. That's this one, right? The princess's party? The castle. Starting at the castle, maybe? I don't know what this is supposed to be.
That's the Gold Lady's castle.
Okay. What is this supposed to be?
What's that plant thing on top?
Oh, those are definitely salmonberry flowers.
Oh.
Hey, that degree in outdoor studies is paying off.
It's the okay, so it's what she did. So salmon, where she ended up, Salmonberry. What's this? Oh, then she was this, then it was
Some
this.
sort of clock.
She worked on clocks, right?
This is the princess's house.
The house, and then the
This
friends.
looks like a dinner party with the old bear and the very old beaver.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's in there? Another letter?
That took me a little bit of time to like kind of digest.
The princess's loss. Is this from the Book of Goblins?
Not that I know of.
Well, sure looks like it could be.
A story that's not in there. The princess's loss. Once upon a time, in an ancient and deep forest, there lived a wise princess in a big wooden house. She made it through the woods and to that house with nothing left but the clothes on her back. Pardon me. And a single item from her old life. A splendid tiara. She lost almost everything in her desperate flight from the mad hunter. The trees tore the rucksack from her back and shredded her dress and left a pattern of red welts on her skin. But through it all, she clutched the tiara close to her chest, fearing any misstep could cause it to fall from her arms and break. Tiara had its own spot in the big wooden house, a pillow near the window, where sun would catch on its surface to shine and wink. The princess could stare for hours at the tiara, marveling at its beauty and running her thumb down its curves. Every morning she would awake, and she would tend to it, polishing its every surface to be sure it shone as brightly as it possibly could. Then she would pluck it up, place it on her head, and walk the woods feeling somehow more complete. Because what, after all, was the princess without a crown? Every night, she would place it upon its pillow, give it a quick kiss, and go to bed. On her way, she would pause and glance back to be sure it was still there. She hated to be separated from it, but she knew it was safest on the pillow while she slept. One night, the princess woke to a raging storm. The wind howled against the walls, rattling the windows and their panes. Fearing a gust might burst open a window and blow the tiara to the ground, she plucked it from its pillow and brought it to bed with her. All through the night, she held the tiara close, and in the morning, she woke to find herself still cradling it. The storm had passed, and the princess relaxed. That day was the same as any other, though she perhaps gave the tiara an even more thorough cleaning, grateful as she was that nothing had gone wrong that night. That night, she placed the tiara upon its pillow, gave it a quick kiss, and went to bed, pausing on her way to be sure it was still there. In the morning, she woke and sensed immediately that something was wrong. In the living room, the tiara lay upon the ground, broken, dull and faded. Nothing else in the room had changed. The pillow was exactly where she had left it. The window was closed. There had been no storm, no wind, no sign that anything at all could have gone amiss. Only the broken tiara, mute upon the ground. She picked it up and held it in her arms. With a guttural cry, though she tried to fix and to polish it, it was gone, beyond repair, and with no shine left. The princess held the tiara through the day and through the next night, sitting in the same spot at the window where she used to polish it. When the sun rose, she looked outside and her gaze fixed on a sapling. She remembered how this sapling had survived the winter, clinging to life despite the frozen, unforgiving earth. Without a word, she went out and buried the tiara in the ground beneath the sapling. And as the final scoop of her dirt fell, the tiara felt truly gone, and with it, the final link to her old self. She could only go forward and find a new place for herself in this world, where she was no longer truly a princess in a tiara and a beautiful gown, but a wan woman, alone in a deep and ancient wood. I felt like we read that bit before. And that was how the princess lost her most precious treasure and her title. This is just referring to her giving up her wealth, I guess, right?
And that was how the princess lost her most precious treasure and her title. That was the story she read us that night.
Okay, yeah.
It makes sense now.
Yeah. She got pregnant. And she ran away to start a new life. And then she made her way to Delos Crossing, where she was finally happy.
She was free of the old life.
But then the baby died.
Oh, is the crown a reference to the child? Also?
I can't even imagine how she must have felt. She left everything behind, built a whole new life for him. And then he was just gone.
I guess having us helped her move on. But when it looked like we were going to be taken away, she snapped.
Ah. Okay.
She just couldn't lose any more children. It really wasn't anything we did.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do with all this.
I don't either, but all I wanted was to understand what happened to her. And now I do.
Yeah. But we still haven't seen what's in that chest.
Ooh.
Okay, so how do we open it?
Okay. I wonder if it's... Oh, is it just O-L-E? Are those the letters?
The princess lost her most precious treasure. That's why it all happened.
I still can't wrap my head around it.
That's what it is, right? It's O-L-E.
Right? Should be easy enough.
How do I change? Oh, I see. I need to look, right. Oh, there's colors. I didn't get it on the first try, everybody. So, it's orange E. Orange E, red L.
All right, should be easy enough.
I thought it was like the order that we unlocked them, but... Yes!
Yes.
Second try. Oh man, this is so cool!
Whoa.
Did it just get darker in here?
Oh geez, okay.
Ollie, she noticed.
Dear Alyson and Ollie,
I was her son.
we write stories to understand and be understood. But what good is a story without a first act? I'm sorry I kept mine from you for so long. All my love, goblins.
Why does she have a photo of that tree locked in here?
That's the tree that she buried the crown, or I'm assuming the baby under. God, that would be so freaking traumatizing. Was she just on her own? She had a miscarriage? And she buried it? Oh.
Is that...
Leo Ronan.
Why didn't she tell us about him? Why didn't she tell us any of this?
I mean, it's fucking terrible. That's why. Allie, did we do the right thing opening this?
We did. It's better we know what happened, even if it's hard. And there's one more thing we need to see.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Wait, there was something else in there. Wasn't there?
Come on. Let's go to the dock. It's time to finish this.
Wait. There was something else in there.
A baby blanket?
Hey, now that we're done with the important stuff, maybe we can take a crack at these?
Wait. That she just totally changed tone. A very old beaver's repair list?
Very old beaver's repair list.
That's the story where the princess's house gets damaged by a storm and the animals help her fix it.
Yeah. What did they do to fix it again?
I wonder if this is a way we can get at the ones that we missed. The, like the sculptures that we missed. Okay. I guess we'll do these. That was kind of strange. I thought she wanted to go to the dock. Okay. It shook the shingles. Okay. I'm just going to kind of quickly go through this. Shingles. Bent to post. Is it how they helped her, though? Because it says there that she repaired that on her own. Nailing the planks. Okay.
She fixed the planks that were blown off the walls.
Okay. The storm had blown the shingles off the roof and planks off the walls and even bent a post. So the shingles.
Huh, she fixed the roof shingles.
post. So the post.
She slapped the post with her. All right. Damn. That must have been rough on Eddie.
Yeah, he doesn't really like to talk about her.
Okay, this one says, Dear Mary Ann, you cover your ears every time I try to have this conversation with you, so I thought I'd have a better chance doing this in a letter. I know you don't like saying goodbye, so I'll keep my melancholic rambling short and sweet. I want to thank you with all my heart for taking care of me for these past few months. I can't even imagine how exhausting it must have been for you to look after a sick old lady when you also have 2 small children at home. I know you want me to keep fighting this disease and hoping for recovery, but it's always been a great strength of mine to know when it's time to let go. That time has come. I'd like to ask you for one last favor. Please take care of Eddie after I'm gone. My poor boy puts on a brave front ever since his father died, but I know he's in pain. Okay, I would be so much more at peace knowing he still has family. Maybe he could teach the kids how to fish. He loves spending time with them. I probably should have forgiven Eddie. Thank you for the warmth and the peace you brought to my life. Give the kids a kiss from me, will you? Carol. The crafty goblin's good deeds.
The crafty goblin's good deeds.
Of course, the goblins had to help out the creatures of the forest to pay off their debt to the pelican.
Well, what did they do?
You know, I don't really remember.
Yeah, is this one of the ones that I hadn't read yet? I don't think I read this one, so that's perfect. The pelican forgives the goblins. Once upon a time, in a deep and ancient forest, there lived a pair of crafty goblins in a cave below a big wooden house. They lived with a wise princess who shared as much food with them as she was able. But it was never quite enough. This left the goblins hungry, very hungry, always hungry. Or did I read this one? One day, as they were out foraging for food, the pious pelican landed on a rock and dumped smorgasbord from her beak. I love that word. Which the goblins knew was magic and never emptied. There were king crabs in red, blue, gold, and scarlet, veiny blue shrimp. Okay, king crabs. No. Okay, we're not there yet. These are the people they had to help. Or the animals. I think of them as people, okay? Pink-shelled scallops, oblong brown clams, purple spiny urchins, and even one prickly red sea cucumber. The food just kept coming. They watched as the pelican ate one clam and then took a nap. Do you think she would mind if we just took a little? Asked one goblin to the other. Her beak never empties. She won't possibly miss a couple of crabs, said the second, licking her lips. They were agreed, and so they crept over, filched some crabs, and ran. The goblins scarfed the crabs, but when they finished, they found that they were still hungry. She won't miss a handful of shrimp, said one goblin to the other. The goblins scarfed the shrimp, but when they finished, they found that they were still hungry. Maybe also a few scallops, said one goblin to the other. Scallops are so good. I love scallops and shrimp. The goblins scarfed the scallops, but when they were finished, they found that they were still hungry. So they went back for clams, and then urchins, and finally, even the sea cucumber. Finally, they were not hungry, but there was also nothing left. Just then the pelican woke up. What happened to my food? She asked. Unable to lie about it, the goblins confessed their crime. The pelican was dismayed, but she was a charitable-hearted bird. She could tell the crafty goblins were growing little creatures. Goblins, said the pious pelican, I will share my food with you, but you must in return follow my example, and be as generous with others as I am with you. Take that to heart, and I will have considered your debt paid. But we have nothing to give, said the goblins. You have your nimble hands and your crafty brains, and your loving hearts, said the pelican. The crafty goblins realized how much they had to give. For the rest of the day, they looked for ways to help other creatures of the forest. They found the stalwart moose struggling with an itchy, hard-to-reach spot on his back, and so they climbed up and gave it a good scratching. Next, they helped the old bear, who could not get the honey out of a narrow beehive. They climbed up on top of the tree with the hive and then dropped it, cracking it open. Finally, they found the princess crying over a loss she would not speak about. So they wrapped their little arms around her in a great big hug and stayed until she felt better. So this is probably an allusion to what she went through. When they were done, they returned to the pious pelican. Did it feel good being as generous as I am? Asked the pelican. It did, said the goblins. I'm glad, said the pelican. So I'm not sure who's speaking, so I do the wrong voice. We all have problems that we can't solve on our own, but if everyone goes about with generosity in their hearts, then there is always someone on hand to help. But we all must commit to do so, or there may be no one there to help when you need it. Wise frickin' words. Those are words to live by, everybody. This made sense to the goblins, and they thanked the pious pelican for her food and the lesson. Of course, by this time, they were hungry again, and that remained an ongoing problem until the day the stalwart moose taught them to fish. But that is another story. That is how the pious pelican forgave the crafty goblins and how she taught them charity. Okay, so we got the moose, the bear, and the princess.
They gave the stalwart moose a good scratch on the back. They broke open the beehive for the bear. They hugged the princess when she was crying. Nailed it. Our lives would have been so different if their friendship hadn't gone to shit.
The Pelican Crossing is a specialty gift boutique located near O'Shea Glacier, catering to Gastineau Channel tourists as well as Delos Crossing locals. We specialize in an assortment of high-quality products from home accessories, handmade souvenirs to personalized apparel, and locally made art. The Pelican Crossing will be the first store to act as a relay between the buzzing arts and craft scene and customers. In addition to a wide array of novelty handcrafted products, the consumer will enjoy friendly and knowledgeable customer service from Vecchi store co-owner Tessa Vecchi and up-and-coming artist Mary Ann Ronan. This business plan is prepared to obtain finance in the amount of $20,000 to purchase inventory and to help cover expenses in the first year of operations. In year 1, the Pelican Crossing plans to break even, and in year 2, we plan to generate a moderate profit. It says, working on the executive summary part of our business plan. What do you think? Oh, they were going to go into business together. Interesting. The old bear's gifts for the princess.
Old bear's gifts for the princess. I'm totally blanking on that story. What did he give her again?
Why don't we open up the book and check?
I think I read this one. But I don't remember either. Is it this one? Okay. Just skimming through this. Yeah, it's definitely that one. Find gifts. Okay. Salmon, bright berries, bluebell. Salmon, bright berries, bluebell. I guess salmon? No. Yes.
Fresh caught salmon?
Berries there?
A newly bloomed bluebell?
Oh. Berries here? I don't know where the berries are. So like the leaves or something. No.
Some honey? Actually, I'm not sure. Some roses, maybe? Maybe not. A handful of ripe berries?
There we go.
Nice. Man, he had it bad. Just couldn't let go.
Sorry for the note under the door like a prison inmate. You okay? I stopped by and rang a couple times this week, but you didn't answer. I could see the light in the hayloft, so I figured you were in, but didn't want to talk. I hope I didn't ruin everything. I know I probably came on kind of strong. The thing is, I don't know how to talk to a woman like you. You're strong and kind, and you know so much. It's hard for me to know how to keep up. I guess all that went to my head, but I want you to know I got the message. I'm going to get out of your hair now, and there doesn't need to be any bad feelings. We can pass in the street and say hello or not. It's okay. P.S. I noticed your car was leaking, so I put some sealant in there. God. You might need to take it to the shop, though. Let me know if you want me to come with you, because sometimes these guys try to rip you off. If not, no big deal. Sam. Sam. He's trying his best.
The crafty goblin's loot.
That's from The Princess and the Two Thieves. I drew the original.
And I distinctly remember drawing that cake, which is arguably the best part of that illustration.
All right, Picasso. Then you probably remember what the goblins stole in that story, huh?
I don't remember, guys. Okay. Okay, it was not much at first. Few fruit, nuts, and eggs. Fruit, nuts, and eggs. Fruit?
Maybe they took some of the princess's fruit?
I guess, are those nuts?
Some flour for the cake,
No.
maybe?
No.
Or not.
Well, there's eggs.
I'm pretty sure they stole some eggs.
That looks like candy up there.
Didn't they take some of the princess's clothes? Or not? What if they took some spoons? That's it.
Interesting. It said nuts, didn't it?
I always wondered where that drawing went. She said it was her favorite, and then one day it just disappeared.
You are the best mom in the world. The prettiest princess. So I think we've done all of them, haven't we? I see. So maybe that's optional stuff. We don't have to do it. We could just leave.
You really want to go? You sure we've seen everything?
I think we've seen everything.
Either way, I'm ready for this to be over.
Me too.
She's like, let me just walk back over to here. Oh, man. Is this the end? Ooh. Stars. The lighting.
What are we waiting for? I want to know who was here that night. Let's try and remember who Marianne was arguing with.
So she's ready to do it together now. Oh, I don't know if I'm ready. Okay, let's go.
Almost.
It's him, isn't it? It's Becky, isn't it?
Tom? Tom Vecchi is our father?
Of course. It had to be him.
Tessa knew, didn't she?
Yeah, she must have. That's what she didn't want to tell us.
God, Marianne and Tom?
I know.
What should we do now?
Yeah, call him out here and make him tell us what was going on.
And if he won't?
We know his secret. He will. Tom? It's Alyson. We need to talk. We know it was you.